Previously on the European LCS.
Alliance clean sweep through Millennium. It's a 3-0. This is going to be the first victory for Alliance. They are going to get a win in the European LCS. Nexus turrets will be going down, and it's going to be Rocket once again taking victory 48 minutes into the game. And wow, what a Mordekaiser. Solid victory there for the Copenhagen Wolves, and Millennium's run continues here. There's the Nexus turrets down. Gambit push in with the Baron in 42 minutes and 9 seconds. Finish off SK Gaming.
What we learn is don't do one stupid mistake that costs the whole game.
I'm definitely looking forward to meet Yellowstar and Reckless.
We're just getting started here. Like someone said, it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the start of yet another action-packed day of the League of Legends Championship Series live from our studio in Cologne, Germany. It's Friday, and your official weekend starts right here. I'm Joe Miller, and joining me in the caster duo lane is my analyst carry, Trevor Quickshot Henry.
Thank you very much, Joe. And even though today is only day 2 of week 2, we've already seen some wildly unexpected surprises in the 2014 season. And with 4 more games today, the potential for more surprises or upsets is plenty.
Yeah, one of those big surprises has been the lackluster performance of Team Millennium, who are now on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, the problem with Millennium right now, they're unable to react to their opponents once the pressure gets turned on. They've lost games early, mid, and late. And I just think they need to settle their nerves and find their groove, because 1-5 is not a good start for them. They were also the team that gave Alliance their first win.
Thursday also brought us a lot more new champions that we've yet to see in the LCS into action. 5 of them to be exact, with Zed, Tristana, Talon, Mordekaiser, and Karma all being brought in.
Some of them to more success than others, Mordekaiser in particular. And the one thing about yesterday's games that was quite interesting is that the average game time is actually very close to last week's 3.15 games. Last week we were about 40 minutes and 10 seconds. This week we are at 39 minutes 19, so about a minute shorter actually, but it is only 4 games. And the one thing I do want to highlight is the 4.1 tower changes. Extended that laning phase a little longer, but the first tower drops earlier on 4.1 by nearly 2 full minutes, 10 minutes to 11:55. So that's quite a change.
Yeah, pretty crazy stats, to be honest. But let's have a look at tonight's action. And more importantly, first of all, Thursday's highlights. Here are 3 #LCS big plays that you guys at home were buzzing about on Twitter. Starting off with Alex Itch's escape yesterday when he was playing the LeBlanc. Chased down by 3 men. He managed to actually sidestep the Ezreal ultimate here before his Mimic at the spear.
Absolutely great play by Gamma. This actually led them to the victory and moves us on to play number 2, this time between Rocket and the Super Hot crew. The man drop from Jankos starts this one off. He focuses down Mr. Rolls in the background, and Mr. Rolls has to set his rally point on retreat. He had to run the entire time, which allowed the Polish powerhouse of Rocket to group up as a nice tight unit. They just created this death ball, got 2 kills, the Dragon, and eventually won the game. So very good play from Rocket.
Looking so very strong in team fights. And that brings us to our #1 play. It was the most tweeted about as well, and that was the duel in the top lane between Candy Panda and Edward's support Kennen. We watch Edward here sidestepping through the ultimate of Candy Panda, which likely cost him the fight there. They both ended up dying before Gambit went on to pick up the win.
If any support is going to do that, it's going to be Edward, the support carry. He coined the phrase and he lives up to it. For you guys at home, remember to hop on Twitter and tell us what your favorite plays of the day are using that #LCS Big Plays.
Well, before we move on to today's games, let's see where the teams are in the standings right now. At the top of the table is Fnatic. They remain with a perfect 4-0 start. In second place, we've got a tie again. Who would have thought? European LCS having a tie? No way. Gambit and Rocket both have 4 wins and 1 loss. And then the Copenhagen Wolves sit in 4th place at 3-2.
Looking down the bottom half of the table, SK Gaming have slipped to 5th place and are now at 2 wins, 3 losses. With Alliance managing to snag their first win, they've pulled themselves out of 8th position and into a tie for 6th with the Super Hot crew at 1 and 4. And then finally, Millennium's 2 losses yesterday and the 5-loss streak we've talked about puts them down in 8th place at a winning record of 1 wins, 5 losses.
Well, those positions could change and probably will if the form of the last couple of weeks is anything to go by. So let's have a look at today's matches. First up, we're going to have the Alliance taking on the Copenhagen Wolves. And then it's a big one, Roccat versus Gambit.
Going to be a big game to determine that 2nd place. After that, we will have the undefeated Fnatic taking on the Super Hot crew in what's most likely a David vs. Goliath match. And then, of course, Millennium versus SK Gaming.
And immediately following the LCS, the European Challenger Series continues with another best of 3.
Yeah, our friends Freak and Jat will be calling the action live as Tick, Trick, and Duck take on Storm Games Clan. And just as an aside, the Challenger Series caster desk is seriously awesome. So you guys want to stick around, not only for the games, but to check out the cool setup as well.
Little bit jealous. If it
Just
wasn't for this awesome crowd here,
oh,
that's for
yes.
sure. But guys, to stay informed about both the League Championship and the Challenger Series, head over to lolesports.com. You'll find all the schedules, standings, and VODs, and more over there. And while you're there, you can also find out how you can get tickets to join us here in Cologne and be part of our studio audience. Just click on the word tickets at the top of the page to learn a bit more.
And of course, whether you're in the studio now or at home, you can still participate by letting us know which team you think will take their enemy's Nexus in today's games. You know the deal. Look at the schedule, click on the thumbs up, the team you think will win, and as per usual, we will be revealing those votes later on air before each and every game.
And speaking of being heard, we also want you to hit us up on Twitter. All you have to do, follow us at LOL Esports and tell us which role is having the biggest impact in the European LCS and why.
I've tossed and turned every time you've asked this question. I'm going to commit. I think the 80 carry. It's been the most exciting. I think every lane's been able to win games, but 80 carry's been the most exciting for me. Just remember for you guys at home to use that hashtag LCS, and we will be reading a few of your responses with a lucky pro later in the show.
Well, let's send things over to Shox and Officio are standing by with a special guest here tonight, Dexter from Counter Logic Gaming.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are joined by Dexter from Counter Logic Gaming, and it's kind of a giveaway. You won't be playing tomorrow in the NALCS as you're here. But what is the status on that situation?
The status right now is we are waiting for the lawyers and for the US government to approve everything so I can go over. And as soon as that happens, I will fly over instantly.
No ETA?
What?
No time when you might be?
No.
Okay.
All right, can you maybe explain a little bit what you do for Counter Logic Gaming now when you can't actually play?
Right now, I'm more of a coach of a team with Monte Cristo together. And I stay up until like 8 in the morning and support the team, tell them what they can do better. I watch almost every scrim from them. And yeah, I think it helps a lot. So
they went 2-2 last week in a Super Week over in NA. What was your general impressions of the team there?
I was hoping for a 2-2 or maybe 3-1. And so my expectations were pretty good going into the week because I saw them practicing. And yeah, I was really happy about the Curse games they played. So yeah.
So overall now, we see a lot of different picks here in Europe. We've seen something like the Teemo in NA. What do you actually think about all these picks?
I think every region is kind of experimenting a lot with picks, what can work to break the meta or something. Because the meta right now is pretty boring, to be honest. It's like 3 picks in top lane, 3 picks in jungle. And yeah, teams want to figure out what's good, what can work. And yeah, the Pantheon here in Europe is working out okay. The Teemo pick in NA draws some bans, so it's worth it actually. And yeah, I expect a lot more bans and picks.
Yeah, you mentioned the Pantheon jungle we've seen in NA and EU. What are you kind of think that are the trends between the junglers if you compare NA versus EU?
I'm not sure how good NA junglers are right now because I didn't play them in a month. And I think that European junglers are like probably one of the strongest position. And they have a lot of junglers that are really good, mechanically skilled. And whereas NA, it's I can't really tell much about it, but I think both regions are in a fine spot right now and have like the same champion picks, same type of playstyles.
Okay.
All right, now we are on the 4.1 patch. And as a jungler, there's been some changes, you know, the items. What do you actually think about this? Do you think we're going to see some new junglers coming up, or?
Personally thinking, I think the Spirit Stone buff is pretty OP. I think it gives some junglers too much sustain, like for example Gragas right now. He doesn't have any mana issues anymore, and he has like a really strong early game. And yeah, he can just jungle to like level 6, pick up the item, and the Spectral Race item got changed as well, where it's now more a late game item with the AT-AP on it. So I expect AD junglers and AP junglers to be better than last patch.
It's going to be interesting to see what we see coming out here today. Of course, the first matchup today is going to be Alliance versus Copenhagen Wolves. It is a rematch. I think Alliance might have something to prove in that one. What are your predictions for that one?
I mean, personally, I would give it to Copenhagen Wolves. I know Alliance won yesterday. They come out here with new confidence, but Copenhagen Wolves for me have been very strong. And like watching them play, I really like it.
Confirming the Spazi video there.
Yes, I like it. I love it.
And you, Dexter?
I expect Alliance to win because of my ex-teammate Tubbs, and they showed some changes this week, coming into the week, I think, from last week, because last week they were like, didn't work out anything, and they worked on their team play, and I think after that win yesterday, they can maybe break the curse and finally start winning games.
Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now it's time for us to go on a brief cooldown, but stay with us because we are just moments away from Froggen's Alliance, looking to keep the momentum from yesterday's win going as they face the Copenhagen Wolves.